A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا زدنا علما يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك آمين. Today we'll do Surah Ikhlāṣ. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Kul huwallahu ahad. Say He Allah is one. Allahu Samad. Allah is independent. Lam yalid walam yulad. He has no children and is not anyone's child. Walam yakullahu kufuwan ahad. There is none equal to him. Writer says, although Surah Ikhlāṣ is brief, it makes the fact clear that Allah Ta'ala is the one and only worthy of worship, and that none shares His attributes. Hazrat Ubay bin Ka'b Ta'ala narrates that Surah Ikhlāṣ was revealed when the mushrikeen asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell them Allah's lineage. He narrates that Amir bin Tufail and Arbid bin Rabi'a once came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Amir said, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to what do you call us? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, I am calling you towards Allah. Amir then said, describe Allah to us. Is he made of gold, silver, iron, or wood? According to another narration, the Jews asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell them what Allah was made of and whether Allah eats and drinks. He was then that Surah Ikhlāṣ was revealed. Because of their insolence, Arbid was killed by a thunderbolt, while Amir was killed by a plague. This surah is called Surah Ikhlāṣ, the surah of sincere devotion, because it is sincerely devoted to the subject of Tawheed. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also referred to this surah as Surah Ikhlāṣ. Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was the first man and the first Nabi. He was from him and his wife Hazrat Hawwa alayhi salam that mankind multiplied. He taught his children Tawheed and they all worshipped only Allah. Many generations after him also worshipped only Allah. Since it was impossible for Shaitan to make people deny the existence of Allah, he started by indoctrinating them with false belief. One of the fundamental beliefs he used to veer them away from Tawheed was to make them believe that Allah Ta'ala was similar to man in that he made children and required the things man requires. Another poisonous arrow he shot at them was to make them believe that among Allah's creation were beings who also had to be worshipped to attain proximity to Allah. He convinced them that these things would intercede for them in Allah's court if they worshipped them. Using these methods, Shaitan made many people believe that the angels were Allah's daughters and that people like Hazrat Isa alayhi salam and Hazrat Uzair alayhi salam were Allah's sons. He also made them prostrate to idols and sacrifice animals in the name of idols. Idol worship began even before the coming of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. As people fell for Shaitan guile, Allah Ta'ala continued sending the Anbiya alayhi salam as well as divine scriptures to this world to guide them. However, the majority of people in every period refused to believe in Tawheed and continued practicing shirk. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started calling people to Tawheed, shirk had become so widespread and accepted that the mushrikeen gaped and said, "Has he made all the many gods into one God? This is indeed something strange. When anything becomes popular, anyone speaks against it is treated with suspicion even though the thing is evil. When shirk and idolatry become popular, the Arabian Peninsula, even the mm, in Peninsula, even the progen- even the progeny of stalwart of Tawheed, Hazrat Ibrahim salam, stopped to the level of placing 360 idols in the Kaaba, which he built as a shrine of Tawheed. Arabia was filled with temples and idols that were revered by all. When these people asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to explain Allah's lineage, Allah revealed Surah ikhlāṣ, commanding Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell the people that He, Allah, is one. This verse makes it clear that Allah is only one of His kind and that none of the creation can be compared to Him in any way. Furthermore, Allah states Allah is independent. Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu has mentioned that this means that Allah needs no one, but that everything needs Allah. Translating the word samad as independent does not do justice to the word because the word includes the fact that all are in need of Allah. Ruhul Mani Tafsir reports that Ibnul Ambari salam that lexicologists are unanimous that the word Samad refers to the sovereign who is second to none and to whom everyone turns for their needs for all their affairs. According to Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas ta'ala anhu, the word Samad refers to a sovereign whose sovereignty is absolute, whose honor is absolute, whose majesty is absolute, whose forbearance is absolute, whose knowledge is absolute, whose wisdom is absolute, and, and whose every fragment of honor and sovereignty is absolute. He has no children and is not anyone's child. This verse ayah answers those people who want to know Allah's lineage. They should know that Allah Ta'ala has no family at all. There is always a similarity between parent and child, since none is similar to Allah to all at all. He can have neither parents nor children. Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Maryam, they say Rahman has taken a child. You have certainly said a grave thing. The gravity of what you say is so intense that the heavens may split as under surrender because of it. The earth may be cleaned over, and mountains may crush to peace. All this because they ascribed children to Rahman. It is not befitting of Rahman to take children. Everything within the heavens and the earth shall come to Rahman as slaves. Surah 19, verse 88 till 93. Allah has been forever and shall remain forever. He has no birth and none was born from him. The mushrikeen who believe that the angels are Allah's daughters are wrong, just as the Christians are wrong to believe that Hazrat Isa salam is Allah's son, and just as the Jews are wrong to believe that Hazrat Uzair salam was Allah's son. They merely copy what others say without thinking. Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Tawbah, the Jews say Uzair is the son of Allah, and the Christians say Masih is the son of Allah. These are mere words that emerge from their mouths. They imitate the statement of those who passed before him. May Allah destroy them. Where are the wandering astray? Surah number 9, verse 30. There is none equal to him. This ayat negates every type of similarity that people may draw between Allah and His creation. Only He is worthy to worship. Uh, only He only He is worthy of worship. Only He has knowledge of everything, and only He can fulfill needs. This verse is similar to the verse of Surah Shura where Allah Ta'ala says, there is nothing like Him, and He is the all hearing and the all seeing. Surah number 42, verse number 11. In an expectantly In an exceptionally concise manner, the surah confirms that every God attribute is found in Allah, and it denies that Allah has any defect. Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that people constantly say that Allah has created everything, and then they ask who created Allah. When this question is posed, one should say Allah is independent. He has no children and is not anyone's child. There is none equal to him. According to another narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised that when this question plague one's mind, one should say, I believe in Allah and His apostles. Alayhi salam. Bukhari and Muslim narrators. Hazrat ibn Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu has also narrated from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah Ta'ala says, the son of Adam has falsified me when he should not do so. He has also sworn me when he should not to do so. He has falsified me by saying that I cannot resurrect him, whereas I created him the first time, and creating the second time is even easier. Man swear me by saying that I have children, whereas I am the one, the independent. I have no children, neither am I anyone's child. There is none equal to me. Mishkat, page number 13. Now, look at the virtues of Surah Ikhlāṣ. Hazrat Abu Sa'id Khudri radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that a Sahabi radiallahu ta'ala anhu once heard another Sahabi radiallahu ta'ala anhu repeatedly reciting Surah Ikhlāṣ. When he reported this to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam sensed that he regarded the act as insignificant. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told him that Surah Ikhlas equaled a third of the Quran. Bukhari, volume 2, page number 750. Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam once told them, should I not recite a third of the Quran to you? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam then recited Surah Ikhlas. Muslim, volume 1, page 271. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam once appointed a person to lead a military expedition. Whenever this person led the other in salah, he always ended every rakah with reciting Surah Ikhlas. When the Sahaba Raziallahu Ta'ala anhu mentioned this to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he told them to ask the person his reason for doing this. When they asked him, he replied, the surah is a description of Allah and I love reciting it. Upon hearing this reply, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told the Sahaba Raziallahu Ta'ala anhum to tell the person that Allah loves him as well. Narrated Muslim in volume 1, page number 271. According to a narration of Hazrat Ans radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when the person told Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that he loved the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to him, your love for this surah shall enter you into Jannah. narrated by Tirmizi. Hazrat Sayyid bin Musab salam narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "A place in Jannah is built for the person who recites Surah Ikhlāṣ 10 times, and two places in Jannah are built for the person who recites Surah Ikhlāṣ 20 times." Hearing this, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, "O Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in this manner we shall have many places built." Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Allah is a great giver. He has with him tremendous rewards for as many deeds as you can manage." Dharmi, Volume 3, page number 320. Hazrat Ans radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The person who recites Surah Ikhlas 200 times shall have 50 years of his sins erased from his record of deed. Of course, the debut he owes to others will not be waived." Hazrat Ans radiallahu ta'ala anhu has also narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that when a person recites Surah Ikhlas 100 times while lying on his right side before sleeping, Allah will tell him on the day of Qiyamah, "O my slave, enter Jannah from the right hand side." Narrated by Tirmizi. Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu reports that when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once heard a person reciting Surah Ikhlas, he said, "It is obligatory for him." "What is?" said asked Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu. "Jannah," replied Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, narrated by Tirmizi. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Allahumma ighfir li muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.